Hello and welcome. This is Hello Roboto. I am your host, Phil. Along with me is the other host, Tim, my brother. We're here to talk about artificial intelligence and technology and their impact on the world and just the absurdity of it. How are you doing today, Tim?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a stressful week. It's not been super fun, to be honest with you. But work's been a little rough, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. I work with some good people, but it's just weird. It's just been weird.
Yeah, I
So
get
yeah,
you. Yeah.
yeah. So I haven't been too prepped for today's episode, as I think I've been telling you, and so I'm not huge on talking about stuff. But I will say, before I start recording, I was going to tell you about. I don't know why it made me. I wanted to talk about it, but I sent you something about like let's talk about um the goodness of AI or how AI might be worthwhile or something like that. And what's sparked that idea was because I've been critical of AI, but what sparked that was an AI video of a cat playing instruments on a porch and a lady coming out and getting mad at the cat. And I was in a meeting, but I had it playing in the background on Reddit and I was cracking up. So I had like this all hands on deck meeting. It was just like an employee, like an organizational meeting about like stats and stuff. But so I was listening to that, and then I had this playing in the background, and it wasn't like super realistic, but it looked like it was like in a Ring camera, like the distortion
Mm,
look, and the cat looked real enough and was reacting and real enough, like because I have a cat, I have my cat Gomez, and then like the lady would come and smack the cat and fall over and start hissing and stuff, but it had like a piano, like a guitar at first, and then it was doing like a synthesizer piano, then it had like a horn, and then it was doing like jazzercise with other cats and stuff. I need to go back and watch it to listen to it, but for whatever reason, I was cracking up and I was like, okay, AI maybe it's not so bad. That's what I was thinking.
yeah, I mean those AI videos are really funny. Have you seen the one where this older man opens the door and
Mm-hmm.
it's a dog, and then the dog explodes, and then
No.
the old man goes flying back into his house, and then gets back up, like crawls back up.
Oh my
It's
God.
really
Oh, I've not
stupid.
seen that. That's stupid. I, yeah, I have a hard time with AI videos because they're like, one, I don't want to replace the work of other people. And I think there's like a need for humanity and creativity and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, some of the absurdity of that stuff is it's just funny to watch. It's just funny to like look at. And there is enjoyment out of it. And I find myself, I don't know if feeling guilty is the right word, but I just feel kind of weird about it because I'm like, oh, this is really good. And I kind of want to watch more, but then I'm like, I don't know. I should probably go watch like a YouTube of like an actual person talking about actual things or whatever, you know?
Yeah, but also I've seen YouTube's. Well, it sounds like an actual person. I'm pretty sure it is, like
Hmm.
narrating, but the imagery around the story is all AI generated. So
Yeah.
it's like I watched this one recently about uh it's the 7 stages of an empire, or 7 stages of
Mm.
uh currency, whatever, foundational currencies or whatever, like the US dollar is
Oh, okay.
the currency of the world. And before that it was
Mm.
the pound, Britain's pound.
Yeah.
Before that was something else. But it was interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in person narrating it, because it had the certain ticks that a normal human voice would have.
Mm.
And I could be wrong. It could have been AI, really good AI, but the imagery of like, oh, they're talking about Portugal or something, and it had like old ships or something like sailing in the water. And it
Hmm.
wasn't like trying to be realistic. It was actually trying to be like almost like a Renaissance painting.
Oh
with a
yeah.
little bit of animation. So it was like almost, it was already like not realistic. It was like a painting, but then because I knew it was AI because you couldn't read anything. There's really no real
Yeah.
words, it was like where words should be. It was just like weird markings.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But, um, I don't know. I don't care about, I don't know. I get it too. Like it's someone trying to make videos who may not have the budget or
Yeah.
the talent to actually make the video, but is really good narrator, reader or narrator or something.
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
if it was an actual human being, that's great. If I don't know if the whole thing is AI, then I feel like icky about it. Like it's because then it's people just pumping stuff out, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be reliable, and it's just going to be weird. And I don't know. It just feels like a product then versus like somebody making something. But I
Yeah.
understand the desire for wanting like cheap, I don't know, illustrations for your work and stuff like that to be able, because I mean I doubt when I first got like heard of ChatGPT a couple of years ago, and like was it Mid Journey, I got really into it and I was like making stuff, and I was like, remember I was trying to do like a t-shirt company for a while.
Oh yeah.
um it was like I was watching a lot of bodybuilding videos, and I was like, I'm gonna do bodybuilding t-shirts like Gymshark, and it was called Oversized Sally because it was going to be oversized shirts and hoodies and stuff. And I was pumping out all of these Mid Journey anime, like anime cells from like women, female bodybuilders, pretty much, just like all these like anime women who were super buff or like muscles or whatever. And then I was like, I wasn't even putting them on there. I was using like print on demand, and I was trying to like get something started that way. And that was like, and my excuse was like, okay, this is how I start because I don't have the talent to draw anime girls, super buff anime girls. So I'll do this, and then when I have the money, I'll hire an like an actual illustrator and start doing like small print runs with like people who actually know what they're doing, and I can do like, actual cool work, and this would just get me started. Um that kind of faded out for a variety of reasons, but I kind of also just felt weird about it because I also tried other things with the illustration stuff, because again I'm like, oh, I'm storytelling, but I don't have the time or the talent to do the illustrations. And I've drawn before. I know how to draw a little bit, but it's been a while since I've actually practiced drawing, and all my stuff looks horrible. And so
Uh,
I don't feel great about it. So I understand the need for it, but I just feel weird about it. But I don't know how to, I guess, navigate those feelings, or what is ethically or morally correct regarding that. Like when it's all AI, absolutely not. But then when it's partially AI, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where to stand on that. Where do you where do you stand on it? I'll get a better idea myself.
it's 50-50 for me too. At a previous company, we had we were at a crossroads for creating ads,
Hmm.
and it was for a product, and we could have used an AI product. I forget, like one of the big ones. I forget the name of it.
Claude.
No, it's a Illustrator program already. It's
Oh,
very for basic stuff. Anybody can like pick it up and use it. I forget the name of it.
I don't know.
But they had AI stuff, and essentially you can like
Hmm.
make ads. And I was like, I think we should hire somebody.
Hmm.
Um, because that's a job, that's what people do. They can make ads. They're illustrators. We're not asking them to work 80 hours a week. This was a maybe like 2-3 hours a week side gig for somebody, and like,
Yeah.
we could afford it. So cool. Would would we have saved some money? Yeah, but not a lot. It was
Hmm.
because we weren't pumping tons of ads out. Um, so with that, I was like, yeah, we should do it. But if you don't have the budget, if we didn't have the budget, we would have gone AI all the way,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I just think it's circumstantial, I guess. I don't know if you can support the arts. But it's the
Yeah.
same thing with engineering, you know, I I really try to support engineers because I am one myself, and uh but you brought up Claude, or VS Code with any of these models. It's really awesome. I hate to say it. I
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
I was very against using it until end of last year, going into this year.
Mm-hmm.
My team finally convinced me to do it, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I don't like the idea of doing this because it is economically made sense because you can move faster. You didn't have to hire as many people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but morally, I was like, I don't like this idea.
Yeah.
But then I started using it and I'm like, man, this is really good. And but then the rest of my
What
team started using it too, and they've used it in the past, and they're like, yeah, like I'm like, do you guys just like tab all day? Like, do you even like code? Like,
what
jokingly asking them, but yeah.
what is it? Walk me through because I've not really used. I think I used like a early Llama or something like that. I can't remember what I used. Maybe I used ChatGPT, and that was years ago.
Okay.
Which 2 years in AI time is like ancient history at this point. But walk me through it. What's tabbing, and then what did you like about it that that really made you go, oh, this is great.
Um, so a good example is, and this is I guess kind of vibe coding, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll go into vibe what I think vibe coding is. Um, so for example, let's say I need to make an API server and I'm using a framework called Fast API. And Fast API is a framework for Python. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I built stuff in the past with it. Let me just spin, a quick API up. I'll make the first, you know, maybe two or three API calls. I pull it up on VS Code. VS Code is an editor, it's an IDE. And on the left side, I have my files listed. In the middle, I actually have my editor, so I can go in and edit my code. And on the
Mm-hmm.
right side, I have the Copilot. So with VS Code,
Mm.
you can use this thing called a Copilot,
Yeah.
and it's your chat. It's a chat bot. You go in, you can talk to the chat. It's using OpenAI, or yeah, OpenAI's, I think 3.2, 3.3. I can't remember which version. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the big ones. But it's aware of what you're working with, so it will actually like scan your code, and then it'll say, okay, this is Fast API, this is Python 3 point whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then with chat, I could say, okay, I'll be like, hey chat, I have two endpoints already on this example. Make me three more endpoints that do yada yada yada. And I need, XYZ class, and, add some tests in there for
Mm-hmm.
deployment. And it'll be like, okay. And it'll look at the code base and go, okay, cool. And then it'll just walk me through what it's doing. And you'll just watch the code actually just show up on your screen. And you're like, okay, cool. And as a software engineer, I can go and then read it and make sure it looks good and test
Mm-hmm.
it out. And something that might take me 30, 45 minutes to do, it just did in 5 minutes. And I'm like, cool, thanks. Less than that, less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
that's that's the example I like to do because it's almost like having a senior, mid to senior engineer next to me. So I can be like, oh, hey, chat, hey, I'm being lazy. I'm working in Next.js for this client side build. Can
Mm-hmm.
you integrate, upload to an S3 bucket for me? And I'll be like, cool, let me do it for you. Boop, 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 boop. And it creates the upload
Yeah.
function and functionality for it and stuff that I don't have to do now. Cool. Like, I can focus on other stuff, like,
Yeah.
that's what I really like about it. And yeah, it's really cool. And there's AI PR reviewers now too. So it'll catch even small things, small typos, or,
Oh.
oh, hey, you forgot to add this, this type in your TypeScript here, blah, blah, blah. Um, you know, we recommend using this. And you're like, okay, cool. Thanks. It's really nice. If you are somewhat skilled engineer,
Mm-hmm.
you can use it and feel like you have like another really awesome engineer next to you. Like
So
it's yeah.
yeah, so you're like, I think vibe coding gets a bad rap because it's often like it'd be like me who has like a couple of years of experience in programming, doesn't really know the ins and outs too much of programming. Okay, I can look over a language and kind of figure it out, or like go to Stack
Mm,
Exchange and figure it out. But I don't like most of the stuff of like endpoints and APIs and stuff like that are just general, not in my head. I'll be honest. So, so you've got almost like 2 decades of experience programming, right? Like it's like 20. It's been
mm,
like 20 years almost at this point.
mm.
Do you feel old
Yeah.
when I say that? Um, but so you've done it. So you're like a senior engineer. So you're a senior engineer who has the benefit of like a mid to senior engineer with this
Mm,
Copilot. So when you ask for the things, you know what to ask for, and then when it pumps the stuff out, you know what to look for that will likely be wrong, or you know how to test for it,
yeah.
or ask again for them to fix it, or whatever it is. So and so it's almost like it's like one of the biggest skills I learned in Dev Boot Camp was, I mean, I already had this skill because I was a librarian, but like asking the right questions in Stack Exchange or looking at the right words in Stack Exchange in order to get the right answer,
Mm,
and then like looking to see the context of something to put it in. And I think so. I mean, so it makes sense. It makes sense with that because it sounds like it's just Stack Exchange on steroids. Because one of the big things I learned as a dev person was like, you don't have all the code in your head. You just have to go look for it, usually, and then try to plug it in. Or try to find pieces or connect with it. And because language is all like everyone's using a different language, or like something comes hot, like Next is hot and it's not, and then React is hot and then it's not, and all that kind of stuff. It's it, you can't like keep all the programming languages in your head, so you just have to like go look for the answers. And this just does the answers and then writes it out for you, so you don't have to
yeah.
copy and paste almost.
Yeah. And you can have a discussion with it. You can even
Yeah.
say, hey, give me two or three best examples for um yeah runtime for JavaScript. And it can be like, okay, here's this, and like the new one's called Bun or something, and like
Mm-hmm.
uh yeah, it'll say, the pros and cons about it and kind of understand it so you don't have to Google it.
Yeah.
It's nice. Uh yeah, I do like it for that. And you're right, like, and I tell this to people who are engineers or, you know, who are like, oh wow, you're a senior engineer or whatever. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm just really good at Googling. And
Yeah.
a lot of engineers retain stuff, right? Like I can pump
Mm-hmm.
stuff out, I can make a decently structured whatever functional without really
Yeah.
Googling.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember because it's you have so many things unless you're really narrowed focused and or you just have the brain that can just like memorize things. And I don't have that brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not narrowly focused on just one platform or one language. And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's things I'm like, oh, I totally forget how to do this. And yeah, I used to Google and go to Stack Overflow and be like, oh, cool, here's this, blah 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 blah. But you're right, yeah, chat's like, hey, I found it. Let me. And sometimes they'll be like, hey, I found it. Do you want me to implement it for you? I'm like, of course. Why do I? What am I doing? Like, I don't want to do this. Like,
Of course. That's funny.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's to me that is a co-pilot. That's a sidekick. That's your number two. That's someone you can hand it off, especially the stuff you don't like doing as an engineer. You can hand it off to them. Them being the robots. But for you, vibe coding, I started playing around with one called V0. It's by Vercel. Vercel is this bigger server organized. I call them servers. They're not a server company because they actually they're a wrapper on top of AWS and Cloudflare, so they're not really like. I don't think they have their own servers. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like,
Yeah.
but anyways, Vercel made this app called V0. You can go on. It gives you a prompt saying, "What do you want to build?"
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you can go on. If you have a random idea, you can say, build me a fan site for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the 1990s or 1985 to 1995. Help me organize them. Put a search in there. And add a chat so I can talk or I can ask about specific fan questions of that era or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make the prompt as detailed the better. Click enter and it will build you that site or what they think is that site. You can even give it examples of what you want it to look like. You can give it a color palette. You can give it everything. You can say, hey, I like this side, make it look like this side, or I like this side, but make these colors different. Here's the logo. Here's the favicon. Here's all this stuff. Of course, if you know more about engineering or coding, you can direct it way better. But for someone who doesn't know how to code, if you can write a really decent description of what you want, like you can get it built. And with Vercel, you can just click a button that says deploy and it will deploy it to a server for you. Like you don't have to be technical really anymore. It helps, but that's vibe coding because then you're just describing stuff of I need XYZ. I want blah, blah, blah. I want this. And you're like, cool. And it's making it for you. And you're honestly not touching code. Like,
Yeah.
I've tested it. I've out of a few projects, I've tweaked the code a couple times. Otherwise, I'm like, cool, thanks, and deploy it. Like I don't even touch the code with the vibe coding stuff. It's weird. Like,
so instead of saying something like endpoint, which is more technical term, you would say something like, I wanted to reach out and get this information from Wikipedia.
yeah,
Or
you can have it
something
you can have it do a general search. Yeah.
Okay.
If you have resources like a specific website that has that resource that you would want, that's even better because it can then take that information off that website.
Does scraping? It scrapes websites then?
It can scrape websites, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I think there's.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think you have that. If you're just full of ideas and want to build stuff for fun, you have that as an option. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is fun. In my opinion, it's fun just watching something work like that. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. Um, I had recently made a site called Tiny Dot, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Tiny Dot app, and it's it's always evolving. The resource list is pretty small right now, but it's the same as Vibe Coded. I don't didn't have as much time to put towards it, but I'm like, this is good enough because it's just getting resources out to people, but it's a resource site for people who want to volunteer or donate food to food pantries
Mm-hmm.
or and helping people with food security, especially during this time when food stamps and other means are pretty scarce.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, you know, if AI is eating the world, might as well use it for good or try
Yeah.
to, So, um, yeah, yeah, it's
Did
I don't know.
Did you
That
use
was really
V0
interesting.
for that? Did you use V0 for that site?
I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been on that site. It's pretty cool. And the hear you talk about where you didn't have time to build and stuff. But you've built like you've been kind of on a streak in the last couple of weeks, like building like 3 or 4 projects. And I know you're fast. You've had a lot of experience, but like to me, I'm like, holy crap, this is insanely fast. The kind of stuff you're building and how fast you're pumping it out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's both vibe coding and both Copilot. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm doing both and yeah.
Would you
It's,
I was gonna ask. Oh, would you recommend V0 for like more complex? Like what would you recommend V0 for? Like I know you're like vibe coding for V0, but like Copilot versus V0, what kind of projects would you recommend for?
V0 is great for like resource type of
Mm-hmm.
directory sites, I guess. Uh, yeah, that one's really good. Plus V0 has a partnership with OpenAI if you want to use like their models.
Uh-huh.
Um, and the site can be built without a database, so you're actually not spending any money on servers,
Yeah.
which is cool. What it does, and you can request it in the prompt and say, I don't want a server. I want my data served up via a YAML file, um, and render it with Markdown. And with Next, so with Vercel, they also own Next.js, and it's a framework
Uh-huh.
based on React. But what it does is, yeah, it makes this YAML file, and you can make a blog, you can make resources, it'll make a list, it's searchable. It treats it like it is a SQL file. And
Mm-hmm.
they have something called like, it's not SQLite. There's SQLite, but there's something it's even like lighter than that runs in the browser. So what
Mm-hmm.
it'll do is just read that file and treat it like a database. But you'll never have to actually run a database. You're saving money. It's really fast, super quick. And if it's data that you don't need to protect, because you're not putting user data in this file, you're not doing, it's just a
Yeah.
directory. Like, yeah, it's really fast, great for SEO. And, um, yeah. What was the question?
What would you what project
I'm
That's
going
fair.
into like how to build stuff. Sorry.
You getting too deep, but
Yeah,
what
I'm getting
types
too
of
deep.
projects would you recommend for V0 versus Copilot? So it sounds like V0 is like um I might be misremembering the term, but CRUD, like create, some update, delete. I don't remember what R is, but like recall, maybe create, recall, update, delete type of deal. Does you remember, do you know, is that a term that only I learned in boot camp?
Oh, CRUD?
Yeah, like a CRUD
Uh,
application.
so create, read, update, delete.
Create, read, update, delete. So that's
Uh,
what it sounds like. V0 is, if you don't, especially if you don't need a database or want a database, what kind of project would you recommend for Copilot? For like that V0, probably you wouldn't want V0 to do.
Definitely more advanced things. So far, that's my experience. Maybe I'm just really bad at V0.
What kind of advanced? What would you consider advanced for some like? What kind of
Good
project?
question. So, so V0 is really good at the web-based technology, specifically with Next.js. And you can connect a database, so you can do the full stack. But go ahead.
So I was gonna say more front end stuff. So like V0 is like more front end.
More front end, yeah. Yeah. And you could do logic and stuff in the back. That's if you're just vibe coding, it's great. If you just want to get an idea kind of out there or test it. Copilot is more advanced, back end technologies, like Python. I haven't tried it with anything else specifically. Like I haven't used it with Go or any of the other languages, but with Python, you could do more advanced solutions. You can get really specific in the function itself. If, for example, I'm writing out and I'm being lazy and I make an entire backend in one file, so it's all in the main.py file, and I can go into Copilot and say, hey, cleanup, can you do a code cleanup? Remove any unnecessary code and yeah, let's start merging in and see if there's any duplicate code that we can reuse and reorganize them into files and utilities and all this stuff, and and basically have a conversation and you just watch it organize everything. You just don't have to do it anymore like that. And yeah, they make the code look nice and organized. And again, it's all the stuff you don't want to do typically as an engineer. You're just like, I just want to build stuff.
Well,
for me, because sometimes code cleanup is just so boring. You're just like, I'd rather be working on a really cool feature, but this code has got out of hand. I need to go clean it up now. And you could, depending on how much coffee I had, I could spend 30 minutes to 2 days doing, code cleanup and reorganizing and just fine tuning and making the code like almost too organized. Yeah. So Copilot, definitely way more advanced stuff. Yeah. I haven't tried it with any like Docker files or anything, but I bet it'll do pretty well with Docker, which is great.
Yeah. That would be nice. So like V0. Okay, so V0 is like front end. You don't worry about databases. You're just trying to get it out there. Code's probably not the cleanest and probably in like a couple of files. It's not like a lot. And then Copilot, a bit more structured, API, databases, and then it will do cleanup and then probably put them into different components, it sounds like, for you. But you kind of have to know the structure of what an application looks like in order to actually probably use it.
If you care about the structure, yeah. And V0 will do that. And that's the thing. It's not one or the other, because V0 will do code cleanup. I've done it before with it. And V0 does put, back end database stuff in there if you need it. So you can say, hey, build this project. And I've tested this, it's kind of it's not super advanced. Again, it has like authentication, all this stuff. And And I'll say, hey, instead of using your partnership Postgres, Supabase, they use Supabase. I'm like, instead of
Mm-hmm.
using them, can you allow me to put a Postgres URL in there into the DNV because I have a database already spun up on another server, and I want that Postgres to talk to Next.js via an ORM called Prisma. And Prisma is a way for it to communicate with SQL language, and
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it'll build that. It'll instead of using Supabase and its partnership, which is makes it a lot simpler and easier, it can make it can make an advanced type of flow that
Mm-hmm.
might be better suited for you because sometimes Prisma is really cool and I like Prisma and some people don't. Um, but if you have a server that you rather have full control of instead of giving it to Supabase, and you can make that stack. I've done it with
Mm-hmm.
V0. So that's what I'm saying. I see V0 as the vibe code.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tested. Yeah, I haven't tested Copilot from a blank slate. I
Oh,
always
okay.
I always start Copilot projects, or I use Copilot based on a project that I've started, and it always has some foundation and knows the language and knows it's some using JavaScript or TypeScript or Python or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I should test that. I don't know. And I've not used Claude. Uh, People love that.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I have not used it, and I haven't used. There's another one, Cursor. I
Mm.
hear Cursor is really good. It's a branch off of VS Code. So they took VS
Yeah.
Code and then wrapped it with their own. I've heard
Mm.
great things for both of those two. I just haven't. I'm just. I just like the tools I use. I'm so used to them,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just move faster. Like you said, I do. I knock on wood. I feel like I do code quickly, and um, yeah, just knowing my tools that I've already have, and just having that Copilot or whatever around is just enough right
Mm-hmm.
now. Yeah.
What? Well, I mean, that's good for you as a senior with decades upon decades of experience. What about like we've talked about this before,
Hmm.
but like and I don't want to put you on the spot, but like what if about like an incoming or like a junior engineer? Like how are they going to get to the level of you, or what do you maybe it's not quite you. What do you see like their path being in order to be like, is there a path? Because I'm seeing a lot of entry level jobs kind of, from what I'm reading, they're drying up because of AI. So, once people hit retirement age, that next group of seniors are not going to be there to like manage the AI. So there's no rotating training or job growth or education or anything.
Yeah.
Or is this what it seems like? I don't know if that's true.
It feels like that too. Yeah.
Mm.
If a startup has an opportunity to save some money, which a lot of times it needs to,
Mm-hmm.
because most companies have runways, especially the ones who are pre-revenue, which is, pre-income. Um,
Yeah.
they're probably living off of an investment, and that investment has a short runway, and no matter how much they raise, it's always too short. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't know, 5 years, yeah. You'd have to hire probably twice as many engineers to get something done that's really advanced.
Mm.
Um, Now you should be able to get away with it with one senior and one mid, and maybe a junior or two mids and a senior. You don't need that many people at this point
Yeah.
to get the MVP out, to get the sales going and all that. And if a startup can save money, because engineers are
Hmm.
expensive, and
Yeah.
instead of hiring an engineer, they can hire, a couple sales people or a marketer to do social media stuff or whatever. And
Mm.
um yeah, there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to the business side. For juniors, it's tough. I'm not entirely sure the answer for it. Honestly,
Mm.
it's tough. Because juniors need to have those jobs in order to
Yeah.
excel. And do I feel like juniors are going to kind of show up as mid levels, kind of maybe lie on a resume a little bit, probably to get to those jobs? Because also, like, these younger generations, they're growing up on this stuff. Like, they know how to prompt engineer really well.
Yeah.
They know how to vibe code. The amount of stuff that I've built is nothing compared to what they've built, probably. And do they
Yeah.
know all the technical things? Maybe not, but they also know
Hmm.
how to talk to the chat and get it done. You know,
Yeah.
I really believe in that. That's it's just a different generation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's true. I guess they would have to. I was sitting here thinking like, oh, they probably need to know how to troubleshoot or what to look for and this and that. But like, if they're using it from 16, 17 or whatever, maybe even in their 20s, it's like, and they're pumping stuff out, they're probably coming up against problems and issues and then having to vibe code their way out of it or whatever, fix it somehow. I mean, that's how I used to get started with coding. And then like I did a little coding in high school. Like I knew HTML and stuff, building websites. I had to like, I had to learn how to make, the websites and stuff like that and just kind of, hammer it home. I just like brute force it sometimes. And so like a lot of my knowledge of technology is based on, being on GeoCities when I was like 17, and younger, because I like, that's how I figured out how to make stuff and build stuff. And then I just kept like doing like rudimentary building stuff. And so I never like got like deep into anything like you did, but yeah, I mean, I guess technically I mean, I'm not like a vibe coder, but like for my work, I've always been the tech person in troubleshooting it and like get handed a platform and I don't know how to use it, or I I don't use it on a regular basis and then I have to fix it. So then I have to go look for documentation or answers and then fix it based on that. And I still don't know 100% how any of it works. And I'm like, I don't really use this. Like we'll use Social. I spent maybe 5 minutes total in Sprout Social, but I'm supposed to like support it, and, like troubleshoot it and tech stuff. It's So I guess that's similar. I guess I'm on that level when it's like coming up. Um, so yeah, I
Yeah.
guess it'll be interesting. I guess it'll just be like an idea of like older people changing their minds about like what to expect from juniors or whatever coming in. Like maybe you should just expect vibe coders. Just like you just have to get a really good vibe coder. Be like,
No,
and
I think
interviews would be
so.
like, hey man, vibe code me. I want, a website that does this and this instead of like, because I never got hired as a programmer except with you because I botched every interview when it came to the actual coding part. Like people would ask me questions or like they'll do a screen share or whatever, and I botched every
It's the
single one because I get
worst.
stressed. I'd do all the interviews. I get like for the first, second interview, but then like the last interview, which that technical part, botched it every time. I just completely blew it every time. And
Like,
I would be able to fix it like as soon as I hung up the call with them. But I was just so stressed about it. And so now I'm like, oh, you know, what if like in the future it's like that, but they're just like, hey, here's kind of the general idea I want. I want you to like go into Claude and build an MVP for me. You got 10 minutes.
yeah. Yeah. Copy and paste your prompt in here. I want to see it. I want to read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have an AI who analyzes prompts to see if the prompt is good. So I prompt it when
and I've got AI in my ear telling me what prompt to write and just typing it. Oh man, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah. But so side note, I wish they get rid of those.
Oh, I think
those live coding challenges. Like those are like, if you work there and you're listening to this, like no shame on you. It's just nobody likes those. And I've seen, and even myself fail at those because you're trying to impress, answer questions, and also show your skills at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, like, yeah, I like make a test. The way I hire now is I make a test that's take home, do at your own time, because that's the way typically I run my engineering team. Is I'm not going to screen share with you all day. Like that's weird. Like,
yeah.
So, anyways, but yeah, going back to like that whole, like it's going to be a thing. It's, I did a hackathon 2 years ago and I was researching, AI agents, and, I was the oldest in that room by at least 5 years, if not 10. I felt old. But I watched, someone flew in from, I think it was New York or something, specifically for this, hackathon. I don't know. Maybe they're looking for a job or it was something. I don't know. And I watched them make these prompts specifically for these agents that, they were building on another project. These prompts were so good, and like it was detailed, and like it was organized, and there was bullet points, and it was like, I'm like, and my prompt was like, hey, find me a cardiologist in Denver, Colorado. Like, yeah, it was like 3 lines, and it still worked, but their prompt would have been way more detailed, probably had way more stuff to it. And now that it's been 2 years and I'm working in prompt stuff, like hopefully my prompts have gotten hopefully as good as that person's, because it was, yeah, that engineering. I thought it was, when I first read about prompt engineering, I thought it was kind of a joke. And I was like,
yeah, me too. I was
like, like, if you can make an awesome prompt, that's totally different now. Like, I get it, because I can make a functional prompt, and then I can make a pretty good prompt or a better prompt. I'm sure there's someone out there who can make the best prompt, and it's like night and day with the results. And I was like, I laugh at it because these prompt engineers are getting paid $200,000 a year making prompts, and that's why I laughed at it, because I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are coming right out of college, or not even college, maybe like, I don't know, maybe high school, and like, but also that's what they grew up doing, and it's such a new thing. And my generation, we laugh at it. You know, we're like, oh, this is kind of a joke, and it's like, no, it's not a joke. Like it's actually a really good skill. It's really
here's why I found it a joke, and I and it's been a while since I've messed with AI stuff on a regular basis, so I don't know. And I was on the prompt engineering websites and reading all the stuff and looking at it, and I came to the term that it was a joke one, because the way the prompt engineers talked about it was like it was like this, like up here, like this is like the grand thing. And I'm like, you're just talking to a computer, dude. It's whatever. And two, it was because the way OpenAI and other AI companies were building assistants and technology was that they wanted the everyday person to talk normally to that AI and get results. So to me, somebody getting like a spreadsheet super technical with that was like, I was like, I can get the same thing just like writing a paragraph or two, or like writing a few, or like just maybe multiple prompts or whatever, but like talking to it like it's a human being, because that's what it's being trained for. That's going to be what's better for it. That's what's going to advance the technology, not like this, super detailed technical questionnaire or whatever. And so I was just like, I don't get it, because it's like the V0, like when you talk about V0, that to me is like, yeah, because you're talking to it in like a normal language and it gets the stuff done. That's what's supposed to happen. You don't need to get like a super technical prompt to get XYZ. And so that's kind of why I was like, that's honestly where there's multiple reasons why I kind of fell out with AI. Cause I was like really into it. I was like building like a, I was using AI to build like a knowledge base, because I was like really into knowledge bases at the time. And then I was like doing the t-shirt stuff, and then I was learning prompt and I was starting a newsletter, and I was like getting really into it. And then part of it was the prompt engineering, part of it was like the idea of like using AI. I felt really weird about it. But yeah, the prompt engineer, and maybe it's different. Maybe I'd look it up and I'll change my mind. But like, I just can't get past the fact that it's like ChatGPT wants you to talk to it like it's a human being. Talk to it like it's a human being to get the stuff you want, because that's what it wants you to do. Just do the thing that it wants you to do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
But also, like, if you're working in a technical environment, we're going back to like the juniors, and they're like, hey, I need here's a CSV of the current I don't know state revenue or whatever for the country. I need this broken down by county. I need this broken down by city and alphabetize it or something,
Yeah.
But also with the finer details, it's, make sure the numbers are to the 10th power or 100th power. And, it needs to be in JSON in this format. Here's a template for that format per object. It needs to have this, and like really fine tuning the actual output instead of just typing in, hey, I need income from all the states. And it's like, okay, what do you need this for specifically? Because now you're getting into AI now talks to APIs. There's methodologies around that. We can get to that in another episode, but essentially, like, you can get that and it can consume that data and it feed that data to something else that's more functional, and automate it. And these prompt engineers can essentially build this world for this data to exist. It's really interesting.
Well, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, that to me sounds like it's more of like a knowledge gap than like a syntax gap. Like when I think prompt, maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. It's like prompt engineering is like an organization of the ideas versus like specific technical terms being used, or is it both? Is there like a difference between like, I'm trying to think of it in like a literary term, but like, is the same information possible in like a short story as it is in a novel type of deal? Or is it just, I mean, I guess what's the difference here?
Uh, so let's think of it as let's so a good short story is
Uh-huh.
written. It Anybody can write a short story, I guess. What makes a great short story? And I would assume it's the tone, it's the narrative, it's the potential details in the
Uh-huh.
story, the voice of the characters or whomever. Uh, to me, that's kind of what prompt engineering could be in
Uh-huh.
parallel to is, yeah, anybody can make a prompt, but how do you make it great? And the yeah, a good prompt engineer will actually guide the LLM to have a certain voice too, which is really
Mm.
interesting. Um, you know, that's LLMs is kind of a dumb thing. It's really smart.
Yeah.
It's very has all the knowledge, but it's really kind of dumb. And
Yeah.
you could say, hey, you're a dentist, a dentist assistant, you know, uh, and for any chat that you get moving forward, um, you need to give advice as if you're a dental assistant.
Uh-huh.
Don't give any medical recommendations. Blah blah blah. And you can really like fine tune the voice for that chat. And
Yeah.
to me, that's really important because if you get on a chat and it's a dentist's office website and you're like,
Yeah.
hey, how do I have a toothache? And the person's like, hey, cool, that's too bad. Have you brushed your teeth? like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like no,
I
you don't want to hear that. I
yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I've used it for that. I've done it where like, hey, you're XYZ and I need to ask you questions in this field of expertise or whatever, and so give it to me in a certain way. So I get that. I think it's just a general like maybe it's the code stuff of like I think I could feel like I get the same code talking to it like a human being than versus versus like structuring it like because and again it's been a while since I've seen the prompt engineering, but the way I saw it was like they would have like a sentence or like two sentences, and then they would have like something colon and then like a list, like a bullet point list, and like something else, and then and I'm just like that feels like a lot to do what I was doing, chatting with it. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. That's what it felt like. And I don't know. Again, I don't. It's been a couple of years. I don't know if it's changed or what. So
Yeah. Well, the big thing is consistency as well. So
yeah.
every output from the LLM
Hmm.
a lot of times has to be exactly the same format.
Oh,
Like there can't be any changes
gotcha.
because if it's working with a specific function, like it's going to
Hmm.
break. It's not going to
Yeah,
work. And it
that
could be
makes
like, oh,
sense.
I put the name thing here instead of here. And you're like, I get that, but also you can't do that.
You can't do
Like you
that.
just have to.
That makes
Um,
sense. I guess that makes
yeah,
sense.
it's just, I feel like it's mainly just consistency over
Hmm.
everything else because the structure of that data is really, really important to the integrity of the app.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's fair. That's fair, I guess.
Or you can just say, hey, give me all a list of all the states, period.
Well, I mean, if you
Send.
if you talk to it like a human being, though, that's you have a higher chance of falling in love with it. So I guess it's probably safer to do that too, to just do normal prompt engineering,
We got,
because then you're not
we
going
got
to
to
fall
get
in
it.
love with you're not going to fall in love with your Chat GPT. We can talk about that another time because it's that's fascinating to me. That's so
That's
fascinating.
really fascinating. And is it loneliness epidemic or is it just our innate human desire to want to be loved? Like
That's probably all of it.
all of it. It's also, it's as we talked about in the past episode, it's gonna get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
We can say it for next one. I mean,
Okay.
we can talk about the love lives of AI next time. Because we've only slightly touched on it. But thanks for the chat and educating me on vibe coding, because like I said, I've not really done it. I've not really been into AI in the last 2 years. I was like heavily into it for like 4 or 5 months, and then I just fell out of it. Just like I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people I see on YouTube, they are just, they are awesome at it.
Yeah.
They're just like, that's how they work now. And I'm like, oh, they have their functions, like they have certain things, areas on their laptop. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, good for them. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be there, but I think there's definitely, I feel like I'm in the lower, I'm like, they're up here. Like, I'm still like, I like knowing a lot of what's going on in the code. But
I don't want to do any of that right now. I was seriously thinking about just like buying an electric piano and making noise music again, because it's like feels like the most human thing I can do. I was like, let's see a machine do that, and just like stomping on some keyboards. But that's my vibe right now. It's just trying to be as human as possible. I don't know what that looks like in this world, but I'm still fascinated by AI. I'm still like a sci-fi dude and like technology guy. So I'm still fascinated by AI and I want to know about it. But it's probably the biggest question mark for me when it comes to technology.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a big question, a lot.
Yeah.
And we can, get into more in the environmental impact and everything later. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. And also, where's the data go? Who's consuming it? Who actually owns the data? What are they doing with all the prompt questions or uploaded PDFs that people are having it analyze? And it's a really interesting scenario. Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Who knows? They're making data centers left and right, and they're trying to consume it all. And it's tough. One of the projects I'm working on is localizing a lot of this stuff. I might just make another resource site and show off tools that you can use locally. You just have to have the machine to do it. A lot of machines can't. But if you have a modern Mac, an M series Mac, you should be able to do some of it. So
okay,
it's getting there.
Well, that's cool. We can talk about it later. But yeah, thanks again for joining me. Is there anything else you want to plug besides that project that doesn't clearly exist yet? Or is there other projects that you want to plug?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I have a couple in the works, but we'll talk about that when they're live.
Okay. Yeah. I got nothing going on because, like I said, I'm trying to just be a human being, and all I've done is meditate 30 minutes in the morning and considering buying an electric piano and smashing the keyboard on YouTube for fun and games.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Sweet.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. If you liked this, please hit subscribe, hit like. If you have any questions for Tim about vibe coding, get that in the comments, and we'll do a Q&A for Tim. If anybody's watching this, I know it's still early days. Podcasting YouTube's weird. You got to pretend. What I've read, you got to pretend like you already have an audience there. So here I am talking to nobody. That's hopefully a somebody. So if you got questions, please put them in the comments. Please. Okay. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.